All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. So, the rumors of the Mountain West Conference's demise have been extremely exaggerated as this league is poised to survive. Hawaii, which was a football only member of the Mountain West, will leave the Big West in 2026 to become a full time member of the Mountain West, which will now give that conference eight full time members or the eight full time members that they need to be recognized by the NCAA. And last month, the Mountain West lost five members: Colorado State, San Diego State, Boise State, Fresno State, and Utah State, all to the rebuilding Pac 12. There were rumors about the Mountain West potentially dissolving, but this league has persevered because we also saw the Mountain West add UTEP to their fold as well. So you're also hearing rumors about the Mountain West looking at both Toledo and Northern Illinois as football only members. And it's one of those where, yes, you do have eight members for your league now if you're the Mountain West, but it's like in this day and age with the way that things are working with college realignment, and of course all of this is basically centered around football, you're going to need more than eight members in order to survive, just due to the fact that, hey, somebody might jump ship for another league. Okay, so you're looking at it, and the Mountain West, just when you wrote them off or when people wanted to write them off, they're hard at work to try to keep this thing going. And they're basically just like Washington State and Oregon State used the old Pac-12's money as they're looking to rebuild their new Pac-12. Pardon me, the Mountain West is using the money that they got from Washington State and Oregon State to, keep their league afloat and keep their remaining members happy. We know how the money is going to be divvied out. And of course, you got the Mountain West new grants of rights, which would basically only give a school an out if they were going to a Power Four league. So Gloria Navarez, the commissioner of the Mountain West, has had to get creative as far as saving this league. And, it's not just that. We know about the ongoing battle, the ongoing legal battle now between the Pac 12 and the Mountain West. And of course, when you hear all of this, some might ask, why didn't these two leagues just merge? And at the beginning, I thought it would have made perfect sense. When hearing stories from people who are closer to some of these institutions, I understand why that was not the case. I still personally feel like, hey, you know what? They should have just had a full on merger and called it a day. But of course, clearly, um, that has not happened. And now we're going to have two separate leagues working here, the Mountain West and the Pac 12, the new Pac 12. And I think it's going to be somewhere in the vein of how it was when you had the Mountain West and you still had the Western Athletic Conference. Okay. That's, kind of how I view this thing right now. But nonetheless, you're looking at it, and the Mountain West is now in a safe zone because, hey, they have their eight full time members. So now they can move forward. The Pac 12 is still at seven because, yes, they did add Gonzaga, but clearly Gonzaga does not have a football team. So they still have to go to work to try to take care of that. The Pac 12, like I said, they still need one more full time member. And before they bring in that full time member, what they are working on right now is getting their new media deal first to basically try to go out there and get that secured and then woo somebody else in, at least one more player, if you will. So I think when it's all said and done for the Pac-12 rather, with their new media deal, we could possibly see CBS, Turner, CW, and Apple TV all in the mix. That Pac-12 media deal that basically broke the old Pac-12 had streaming aspects that were there, and of course, some people walked away from that deal. nonetheless, I think this time around you could see Apple TV come into the mix to stream some games for the new Pac-12. Definitely the CW because they're already working with Oregon State and Washington State. I think CBS, Turner, and Fox could all be in the mix as well. And I'll tell you like this: Turner has money to throw around, like I've said before, after losing the NBA rights. CBS, maybe they might. I'm speaking hypothetically here. Maybe they might want to come at this kind of like how the Big Ten is doing it, from the standpoint that you know what, you have games on different networks in different windows, and of course, typically Fox gets the Big Ten game at noon Eastern, then CBS gets the 3:30 game, and then NBC and Peacock get the primetime Big Ten, the main Big Ten contest. If you're the Pac-12, maybe you could say, okay, if CBS has a window to fill in that 12 o'clock slot, maybe you all could jump into there. And I think that's where bringing some Eastern time zone teams a la a Memphis would help you if you're the Pac-12 to try to secure that. You still have the CW, you'd still have Fox, but when I say Fox, you're not going to get, if you're the Pac-12, you're not going to get that prime spot on Fox. It'd be FS1 or FS2, and like I said, you still got Turner as well as Apple TV in that mix as well. So the Pac-12 was working on their deal. Okay. And like I mentioned Memphis because they talked to Memphis before. And I think at some point, I do expect the Pac 12 to attempt to circle back to get at least Memphis and Tulane from the American to join them. And the reason why I say it is this: you're not going to get one. I think if you're the Pac 12 and you're going to get a school from the Eastern time zone to jump to work with you and join forces, you're going to have to get at least one other school from that time zone to make it make sense. And I think if that's the case for the Pac-12, I think they go after both Memphis and Tulane. Maybe a Texas State is in that mix as well. We did see Texas State, who had a verbal invite from the Mountain West, say no. Maybe they're looking at the Pac-12. Could UTSA and South Florida also still be in the mix as well? They were a part of that quartet that the Pac-12 was looking at before. And this business, you never say no when it comes to the world of college football realignment. So I would imagine that the Pac-12's new television deal would be more than the Mountain West. How much? That remains to be seen. And I think that's going to be a sticking point as far as the Pac-12 seeing who else they can get to join their new league. So you look at college football realignment, and it's the unfortunate side of the business because it is a business, and we've seen conferences go by the wayside. We've seen some conferences become mega conferences in the process, and of course, college football realignment has now gotten to the Mid American. Of course, the Mountain West has been hurt, so now it's the MAC, and you're looking at the MAC where they could potentially lose Toledo and Northern Illinois as for football members. So, what would be next for this league? Well, we know that Massachusetts is set to join as a full time member. UMass is a football independent right now. And of course, they play the rest of their sports for the most part in the Atlantic 10. So, I'm just saying this, and please don't you know, jump on me for this. I'm just throwing it out there. Maybe the MAC would go and look after and look out for a Connecticut who as a football only member. I'm just throwing it out there. Highly, highly doubt that it would happen because if you're UConn, you would want to try to join a power league. Of course, the Big 12 has basically laughed at them, when it's all said and done. And of course, they're getting their basketball money from the Big East. I still think, at the end of the day, UConn's a basketball school. Maybe they scale it back to the FCS level. I highly doubt it at this point. I'm just throwing it out there. But nonetheless, of course, when you're seeing all of this, the Mountain West has their league set for the most part with at least 8 members. What is going to be the next domino to fall in college football realignment? And I think at this point, the next domino that will fall will occur when the Pac-12 gets their television deal. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Let's say the Pac-12 is able to get Memphis and Tulane. So hypothetically speaking, okay, that would give them 9 football members. Of course, they would be a 10-team league. They would also, there's rumors about them also looking at maybe a St. Mary's and a Grand Canyon to join their league. Clearly, both of those schools don't have football programs as well. Maybe they round it out to try to have 10 football members. I'm not sure. But I think when they get their new television deal, that will be the next domino to fall in this crazy, zany thing that we know as college football realignment. Another question for me: will UNLV regret staying in the Mountain West and not going to the Pac-12? You're hearing stuff from people that know the UNLV program, and they're saying, "Hey, UNLV really wants to get a Big 12 invite," and I totally get it. Okay, and I'm not here to try to downplay that because I think if there were a power league to take a UNLV, it would be the Big 12. Um, a lot of that's going to come down to the next round of realignment and expansion for the bigger conferences. Would it happen? I'm not sure. Okay. I know that the Mountain West, basically gave UNLV as well as Air Force some thank you money for staying with their league. But I'm just throwing it out there. You could have had a Pac 12, basketball wise at least, with a UNLV, Gonzaga, San Diego State, and the Memphis potentially all in the same league. I think that would have been a hell of a basketball league. But nonetheless, UNLV is committed to the Mountain West. And like I said, they have their 8. They're going to go forward with that. The next domino will be the Pac-12's media deal whenever it gets done. I think it's going to get done sooner rather than later, nonetheless. But not surprised about Hawaii. Okay, the Mountain West has been trying hard to get other teams to join their league. Did not happen. And I think at this point, Hawaii, already being a football member, was the best option for them at this point. They've got their 8. They're going forward. Let's see what's next for the Mountain West, and let's see where the next domino falls in this zany world of college football realignment. But, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank all of you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.